So my name is Schwisher. I'm with Group JD Consulting and Management Services, and I have never had a job. And I say that because I have my entire adult life never had W-2, never filled out W-9. I've always been an entrepreneur in some way or another, and have my own business, and been responsible for basically capturing what I get to eat, so to speak. And so at 48, I now have Group JD Consulting and Management Services. And the main thing that I do is I sell roofs. So I'm not a roofer. I know a little bit about roofing, I can do a little bit, but I sell roofs. I do know how to install them, I do know all the details involved in doing that. And I also work with other contractors, helping them find customers as well, and with project management services, do some consulting, and I can even do some paralegal services, because I was an attorney for 20 years before I did this. But here's my family, I have one, and there they are. I grew up in a very small family. My grandfather was estranged from his father, and when he graduated from college, they put a C in his college transcript. He did not have a C in his last name, and it was easier for him to do a legal name change to add the C that I now have in my last name than it was for him to get Park College in Kansas City, Missouri, to change the last name on his transcript to his actual name. He was estranged from his father, didn't have anything to do with his father's side of the family. They all lived in Kansas, so he didn't mind making that change. And so to this day, we have that C in our name. So now nobody can pronounce my last name. That's why, you know. But my family growing up was basically just me, two siblings, two cousins, and an aunt. That was it. And this is my family now. So basically, I've found my people, and not all these people are related to me, but probably 95% of them are. Next slide. This is my wife. This is Brittany. She's my rock. Next slide. And these are my kids. It's me and my two daughters from my first marriage. It's Lauren and Madden. This is Connor, and Aiden, and Emily. They're my wife's children. So my stepchildren. I count them as my own. Emily looks pretty. I think she would call it ratchet here, maybe, I think, or chopped. I'm not sure exactly what the term is today, but she's much prettier in this picture, so I thought I'd put that on there as well. And this is Maddie and her family. This is Travis, and that's Ty. Next slide. So those are my grandbabies. So those people have all given me some other people to deal with my family. Love on. That's Brinley. She's a lot older now. That's Myra, her sister. They're both Warren's children. That's Arthur. That's a different story altogether. We'll talk about that one in a one-to-one. There's Ty again, and there's Ty and Brinley leaving Ty's t-ball game. She's a little bit bigger now. I got some dogs too that I love on. It's Remy, it's Alphaba, that's Harry. Alphaba's not with us anymore. And Harry's a lot thicker these days. And Remy is, Emily would say, is both ratchet and chopped. I got some hobbies. I love shooting pool, 9-ball, 8-ball, 10-ball, you name your game. Play some golf, at least I did before my hip replacement. We're getting there again. Then I like to read also. Next slide. So I'll tell you a little bit what I do already. Ridgeline Roofing and Solar is the roofing partner that I work with. So what I generally do is find my appointments and my customers one of three ways. Ridgeline calls me and says, hey, we have a customer who we'd like you to go out and look at their roof. I go and knock on doors, or I put out flyers, I find my own business, or telemarketers. And telemarketers are the way that I like working the most. So I like having partners that like doing a lot of telemarketing, because those are buyers that already know that they're looking for somebody to look at their roof. It's a lot warmer whenever I come to their door than if I just cold knock on somebody's door. If I came up to your door and knocked on it, you didn't know me or why I was there, you instantly are going to be in a position of distrust. So that's the biggest thing that helps me in my business is trust. So having all of you and gaining your trust has been very important to me, because you can obviously help me find another avenue of finding customers in the worlds that you guys can pass along to me as well. Next slide. And so reasons that people should want to know about what's on the roof. Everybody in this picture thought they had a good roof. There's nothing wrong with the roof. They had a leak maybe 5 years ago, but they had somebody come by and get it fixed. Well, here in this one, they had a chimney leak. Had a handyman come out and fix the chimney leak. This is a piece of what's called modified bitumen. It is a roll roofing product you see in a lot of commercial buildings or flat roofing. They tried to use it here as a piece of flashing on the back of this chimney. Well, the back of this chimney's got all this tar on there because they took what a lot of people call blackjack or asphalt, they slathered it on the back of that chimney. And then they tried to glue this piece of flat roll roofing to it. Well, it has completely come away there. There is no metal there up against that chimney. Code requires there be a piece of metal bent 4 to 6 inches up the flat wall of that chimney. It'd be a solid piece of metal across the back of it. And then it'd be then counterflashed with another piece that's cut in or glued into the back of that chimney, so when rain hits it, it rolls off. Look at that thing. That's a pool. Talk about having a place for water to get into your home. She's got a place where squirrels can take a bath right there in the back of that chimney, and rain can just sit, and not just come in while it's raining, it can come for the next 2 or 3 weeks. Over here, same roof. Whoever installed this roof, they used a stagger pattern where they overexposed the shingle by 1 inch to 1.5 inches. And that probably saved them 3 bundles of shingles over the course of the project, doing it that way. But it also exposed parts of the roof that should never be exposed. They're supposed to be hidden underneath this shingle, it's supposed to be up there, covering that. So, a little bit of hail damage here. Their roof is fine. We got nails sticking through here. There are several nails like that sticking through because of the bad installation. If nobody ever gets them on a roof, nobody knows. And ignorance is bliss until it isn't. That's why it's important. People know somebody like me. So if you have somebody that's been hit by a storm or hasn't had the roof looked at for a while, it's important to have somebody take a look at it, because all of these, when they were simple issues, except for maybe the hail. The hail thing with hail is you don't think it's a big deal unless it's massive hail, like the size of your fist coming down, just scaring you to death while it's happening. You think your home can handle it. Sure, it's going to take a beating, but you think your home is made to take that. It's a 30-year, 40-year, 50-year shingle that can surely handle one small hailstorm. Anything bigger than 1 inch or 1/4 has a possibility of damaging a roof that's greater than 5 years old, depending on the conditions and circumstances of the installation of that roof. 90% of all roofs in the United States are installed with improper ventilation. If your roof has improper ventilation, it has hot spots on it. I was on a roof yesterday that had improper ventilation on it. In the middle of this roof, there's hail damage all over. And whenever I get up on the roof and I inspect it, and I find hail damage in one spot on one side of a roof and no place else, the first thing I think is another roofer has been up on that roof and has decided he's going to take out a quarter or take out a hammer or something, and he's played around trying to make hail damage. That's what insurance companies think too. But another thing that can happen is if you have hot spots on your roof, parts of your roof might be properly ventilated. Whenever a smaller hailstorm hits that part of your roof, it's not going to get damaged. But if you have hot spots on your roof, that hot spot's going to show itself real quick because you're going to have damage in that one spot. And so it's a tough situation because that is the only thing that would get proved in that insurance claim. It's brought up to be up to his deductible just for that one small slope that has all the damage on it. So he's probably just going to live with having hail damage. And what happens is after about 2 or 3 years, when those spots are exposed to the sun, they eat through the asphalt and make little holes in your roof when water starts coming in. So the time to take care of hail damage isn't when it's leaking, it is before you have holes torn into your roof by the sun and water's actively coming into your home, because at that point, it's probably past the time on your policy to file a claim. That doesn't mean your insurance isn't going to cover it, but it does mean you might not get the full amount your insurance would have otherwise paid you. Kristen knows this, but you have replacement cost policies and actual cash value policies. If you have waited too long to file your claim, your replacement cost policy usually turns into an actual cash value policy at some point. Sheree's nodding her head too there, she understands insurance as well. But if you don't make the repair timely, you lose substantial money sometimes, have to pay out of pocket. Next slide. Other surprises you might not know about. Before I started actually making money, I was an opera singer. So it's another little surprise there. Next slide. And Remy is always watching. There are snacks. He knows it. You have them. He wants them. Next slide. Favorite quote from George Washington: associate yourself with men of good quality if you esteem your own reputation, for it is better to be alone than in bad company. I really appreciate you guys. This is good company. Talking about thermometers and thermostats, I was born with 2 operating systems, and they conflict. I am autistic and I have ADHD. And I'm high functioning autistic, which means you probably don't know it. But my autism wants to be a thermostat, but is wired to be a thermometer. My ADHD wants to be a thermometer, but it's wired to be a thermostat. So I'm constantly conflicting everything that I do, and whenever I'm speaking to you guys, always please assume I'm speaking to you from a place of good intention, because there are times, especially when people are venting to me and they're sharing their experiences with me, my mind goes straight to the problem. And they want to work through the problem on their own when they're venting to me. And so when I immediately, the autistic part of me thinks of the problem, well, here's the problem. And the ADHD side of me wants to share it. And we're at the problem. I'm not trying to offend you, but I'm cutting you to your core whenever I get to that problem that you're waiting to get to, and you don't want to hear it. You want to get there yourself. So please assume if that ever happens in our conversations, it is out of a place of good intent, and I'm only trying to be helpful. But I have ruined relationships with that little flaw right there. I've had to learn the hard way. Every conversation that I have with somebody, trust me, it's been rehearsed in my head probably 100 times, because I don't get to shut that off. Between the autism wanting to replay things and play new things that haven't even happened yet, and the ADHD wanting to relive it and see it again and again and again, especially if it's fun. I've got a really hard time staying on task and focused and engaging people for long periods of time. But I've learned how to do it, and it's all been rehearsed. But I want to let you guys know that I'm trying really hard to come from a genuine place whenever I deal with all of you. I always want you to feel like I'm coming with you from a good place, and I know you're coming to me from a good place as well. So I appreciate your trust. I appreciate you guys letting me give the education moments. I actually enjoy preparing them and finding good stuff. There are weeks that I work 4 to 8 hours a week, because like I said, I don't have a job. There are weeks like this one where I've already worked 40 hours. So we get busy, we don't get busy. Somebody decides to invest in some leads and ask me if I might want to help them with those. So I'm busy again. But I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that we keep those education moments good. And thank you guys for your trust.
3 minutes for questions. Anybody have questions for Corey?
You were like, mic drop out.
Like I didn't think about that door, I should have.
So you're actually going up and inspecting?
Yes.
and everything too?
Yes, I do full inspections.
Okay, awesome. And then, with your company, is it that you guys are pairing with another roofing company then to?
So that's right. So I basically have partners that I choose to work with, and Ridgeline is the partner that I choose to work with roofing. But honestly, if there's anybody else out there that wanted to invest in finding me customers, I'd be open to listen to them too, you know. But I try to work with one company. I try really hard to. But yes, I've got another guy that works with me with Roof JD, and we do inspections for roofing companies, mostly Ridgeline. Yes.
Going to some different networking groups. One time there was a roofer who was talking, and he was saying about how somebody could go up there and mix roofing materials and ruin and somehow not be able to be covered by insurance.
Sure.
Can you address that?
That's why it's really important to have a good project manager on your job and to make sure that you're hiring a qualified repair professional, because when you have a roofing system, it has a warranty on it, and when that warranty requires certain things to be done or certain materials to be used, you don't use them, you don't have a warranty after all. So if you have a blow off, lose some shingles, end up having a repair, and they put a different brand shingle on your roof, you just voided your entire warranty on the entire roof. Not just on the repair, you voided the entire thing. Now, there aren't many shingle manufacturer warranty claims, but there are lots of defective shingles out there where warranty claims should be made. And you don't want to void that warranty if you don't have to.
Cool. All right. Anybody else? All right. Thanks, Corey.
Thank you.